Hi, Dougie Burr from Doug Burt's Tackle World here on the Gold Coast with Fishing Report for the 21st and 22nd of November 2020. Okay guys, I'm just going to start off as I always do with offshore. So offshore fishing this week, the weather was pretty crappy early in the week, and last Sunday if you guys got out and got a few dolphinfish and a few bits and pieces, some good kingies actually out wide, but then Monday the wind come in and it blew right through to yesterday, and then today it's been an absolute glamour, and tomorrow looks really good, and so does Sunday with sort of that 10 knots in the morning, maybe 15 knots sea breeze in the afternoon, but pretty good weather. The best weather we've had in over 10 weeks. So we've had 9 weeks of 20 plus knots every weekend, so great to see. So you have no excuse. Get out there. You've probably earned enough brownie points by now, so should be able to get there and get a feed for the family and the mates. But anyhow, yeah, so the fishing's been really good. Today we had like just countless reports of dolphinfish being caught. Guys are fishing the fads with pilchards, and other guys are fishing the fads with liveys, and then guys were trolling the fads, and guys were trolling around out the paddock, which was not near the fad, and that was really, really good as well. So it didn't really matter where you were, it was just more a case of having something in the water. So the guys that fished the fads, from right on daylight till most of the day, off and on, the fish sort of bit. The fish are bigger, as I said, each week they get bigger and bigger. This week they're sort of the odd little ones, but most of them are around that metre, up to about 1.2 or 3 metres. So good quality fish. And then the guys that were live baiting getting a little bit bigger fish, even up to about 1.4 metres. And the guys trolling skirts, average size about 1.2 plus, so good fish. The skirts have been taken in sort of like that 6 to 8 inch skirts, trolling about 7 knots, trolley lines back a bit. Your closest one might be about 35 metres back, and your furthest might be 60 or 70 or 80 metres back. And you don't necessarily have to be right on top of the fad. Like I said, sometimes the fish will move off the fad, but generally speaking, they are starting to show up everywhere. So as long as you're on top of that sort of 36 fathom reef line, or the 50 fathom reef line, or even the 24 fathom reef line, for those who got little boats, definitely worth a shot. Actually, one of our customers is out this morning on the way out to the fads out wider, and they stopped off at the 24 fathom fad right just after daylight, and just chucked the lures in and a quick troll past it, and straight away got a dolphinfish. So that's the first one that I've heard of the fad in close yet. And then I saw a couple of charter boats during the week did quite well. Sequester and a couple of other ones on the dollies fishing just in close, so around 45 metres. So yeah, just a local boat. So they're really good dolphinfish. I'll show you on Facebook tomorrow anyhow, but you'll see them. They're pretty good dolphinfish for in close, and beautiful, beautiful clean fish. So dolphinfish, small skirts, 6 to 8 inch. Colours, they take all colours, but greens seem to be pretty popular this year, as do blues. Blues and greens seem to be pretty popular at the moment. Purples always work, pinks always work, so yeah, it covers the spectrum, I guess. So if you got a boat and you want to get some dolphinfish, and your boat's small, fish around the 24s and troll that sort of 50 metre ledge, 45 to 50 metres deep. Otherwise go to 36s. There's 12 fads off the Gold Coast, I think, or 13 fads, so there should be enough there for most people to share. Have good etiquette, please, at the fads, and don't sort of just hold the spot with your spot lock on. You're better off and trouble is current running, guys. You got to understand, spot lock doesn't work very good in current. It holds you there, but your lines are out the back, and the dolphinfish don't like that. They want to be floating naturally with the current. So get rid of your spot lock and just drift with the current. You'll probably catch more fish. Otherwise troll. But if it's windy and there's no current, the spot lock, that works good. Keep emphasising that as well. So yeah, otherwise in close this week, a lot of tailor on the reefs, on the close reefs. There's heaps of tailor. If you can get your float line bait down, or your plastics, whatever, down amongst them, past them, you might get a snapper. Otherwise you're going to catch a heap of trag. I try a tailor and a few trag. I haven't heard of much in the way of cobra or kingies in on the close reefs. Heaps of bait though. If you want to get bait, there's bait everywhere outside at the moment, especially on the wrecks, on the 12 fathom reef, 18s, 24s. Some really good slimies too, folks, right in close. On the 36 fathom reefs, the snapper have been a little bit quiet, a few around, but not big lots, a few parrot, a few drag, just a general type fish. But out on the 50s, even the current's running at about a knot and a half, 2 knots. It has dropped off a bit the last couple of days, but it picks up again next week. But the fishing's been pretty good. The kingies that were caught last Sunday morning for that wind come up were really good. One of my mates got 3 kingies, like 20 kilo plus, and they dropped a heap, and they also got sharked a heap too. Sharks are a big problem at the moment. They're everywhere, as we all know. But yeah, so heaps of kingies, especially on that northeast 50 fathom reef, up around 27.42 on your latitude, 153.43 on your longitude. So have a look around that area. There's some good, find the bait, you'll find the kingies. And a few amberjacks amongst them, obviously a lot of sharks, and a few snapper there as well, and dolphinfish. So guys have been telling me that the last sort of week that they've been out fishing out along that 50 fathom line, that actually dolphinfish are actually coming up to the boat and looking at the boat, and some guys been catching them just chucking out a weighted pilly, sort of half a pilly, 4 hook, 40 pound fluorocarbon, and just strip a heap of line off and throw a heap of burley, chopped up pillies at the same time as you cast out your line, and just let it waffle down with the bait, and you might get smashed, hopefully. They're good sized dolphinfish too. Guys up off Point Lookout Way, in that sort of 100, 120 metre mark, I was speaking to a couple of gentlemen last week, and they had them up to 30 kilos plus on the dolphinfish, and they were just like swimming through the waves like dolphins. I thought they were dolphins at the start until their rods took off, and bagged out on really big dolphinfish. They actually got some on stick baits too. They got one around nearly 30 kilos on stick bait. So have a casting rod ready. Like, we've been getting heaps of dolphinfish, and a couple of weeks ago, just on the fads, casting those 42 gram, they're size 10 heavy Rapala, I can't name it, sorry, but we do have them in stocky over the wall. They're Rapala X-Wraps anyhow, but I don't know the model, sorry. The heavy ones, and they do it in a bib version or a non-bib version, like a stick bait, and they've got a really good action through the water. Just cast it out. If you see any dolphinfish, let it sink a bit, just slow wind, twitch a little bit. They've been really good. They're working really, really good. They're good. If you see wahoo out there as well, they'll slam it big time. Definitely worth a go. Out further, there's a few blue marlin being caught. Obviously, lots of big dolphinfish. Some really big dolphinfish out around Jim's Mountain, Riviera grounds, and anywhere out in the open. They're just rocking up from everywhere. A few striped marlin being caught too. There's a lot of striped marlin actually around at the moment, and a few big blue marlin as well at the moment. So if you want to go for a trolling weekend, this is the weekend to do it with the weather, and definitely current wise it's not too bad. It's around that sort of 2 knots max, but picking up next week, as is the weather. Just remember, Sunday afternoon it comes in a little bit windy. Monday is off the Richter scale, 30 knots again from the north, and then it swings around to the south on Tuesday, I think, at around about similar 20 knots or something like that, and then it drops back. Looks not too bad next weekend, folks. Again, I can't believe we get 2 weekends in a row, but it does drop back on Friday, or Thursday afternoon, Friday, to about 10, 15 knots again. So yeah, it looks good. It's probably better for offshore, I think. We might swing now to up the northern area and jumping pin area. So up jumping pin, it's just, inside it's just been whiting and flatties, like heaps of whiting, heaps of flatties, a few tailor. So that's what's happening. So whiting, I'll be fishing around Gold Bank, and with the yabbies, drifting or just anchored up on the edge of the banks, and fishing at lightly weighted yabbies if the current's not running too hard. The current does run hard. The whiting don't give a crap about the size of sinkers. Throw on a 4 ball or surf 5 ball and throw it out. As long as your bait's presented right, they're happy. So, but when the tide's high and you've got no current, if you want to get those bigger whiting, you need to throw away all your sinkers and just use your yabby straight onto your hook and a bit of 8 pound fluorocarbon leader, and just drift the flats or cast it up on a little trickling current and let it come down, and that's how you get your bigger whiting. And they can be in waters that are this deep, doesn't really matter. Just got to find where they are, but they're generally scattered around the place, and they're schooled up sometimes as well. Bream around Crusoe Island, Klinger Bank. Flatties in the deep along Klinger Bank. Definitely around the flats around Pandanus Island, Tippers Channel. Sand crabs, try around Tippers Channel, heading down towards the Tippers area itself, anywhere from where the entrance of Tippers Channel at the northern end all the way through down to there. Also around the Slipping Sands area and further up towards Canopa Passage. So a few sand crabs around. Muddy's a bit quiet, folks. Sorry, I know I hit some mud crab guys from the Logan and Jacobs area, but I haven't heard much of muddies. I'm sorry, it's been a bit quiet, a bit of rain. That's probably about it for the Broadwater, for the northern and the Broadwater. Down the Broadwater itself, I went out this morning with my son just real quickly before work, and got a few flatties and some big eye trevally chopping around. Got a couple of those too on the eastern side of Crab Island, of the little Crab Island there. And just using plastics, so just fishing for flatties, and actually they're smashed on the surface. The birds are diving in the trevally. Definitely worth a go there on the first run in tide near Crab on the east side of it. The flatties weren't too bad around Crab Island last weekend. There's quite a few caught there as well. In the Seaway, North Wall, anywhere from where the barge comes in there all the way to the end where the trees are heading north. Good area for flatties on that first run in tide, which is the next couple of days. You get low tide about 5:36, and you fish that first hour, the run in before it runs too hard. Get some good flathead, some really good ones along there. Whiting around the back of Wave Break, around Crab Island. Again, as soon as that tide starts to make over the banks, that's when you catch them just drifting. That first run in tide, really small sinker, no sinker, as I say, and just drift the flats that are only about 1/2 metre deep. And you can actually anchor up and cast as well. Try and find an area where it's shallow, but there's a little bit of a channel coming through the sandbanks. It might be only 1/2 metre deep, and position yourself in that channel, especially towards the end of it where it sort of drops down again, and they'll settle on that edge. So then you cut them off at the pass as they come swimming down there, and they'll be down there feeding. They'll be dropping into that little drop off, and all the sand that is coming with the running tide over that ledge, that's what they'll be feeding. Yeah, brown wave breaks were good. Nerang River, fantastic. You all know how many whiting up there at night time at the moment. Please remember Broadwater, yabbies during the day, Nerang River, worms at night. As I said last time in my report, I now understand, well, years ago we never used to use beachworms, sorry, in Nerang River at night. It was always bloodworms, and go and dig them, and it's a pain in the backside to do that, but well worth it, get a good catch. I don't know if they've changed their stable diet of bloodworms to beachworms, but I learned from my mate Steve that beachworms work as good as bloodworms, and they do. Like we went up 2 nights nearly in a row, Sunday and Tuesday night, probably caught more on beachworms than I did on bloodworms, and I was like, couldn't believe it. Anyhow, so you don't need to go and get bloodworms, just go and catch the beachworms and head up there, or buy your beachworms, one of the two, and head up the river and you'll catch them. You won't get many on the yabbies though. We took yabbies up. I think we caught one out of say 40 or 50 fish each night. We got one was on yabbies, so a lot of bream. So just take up worms, but in the Broadwater, worms during the day. Oh, yabbies during the day. What else happened in the Broadwater? Not that much bream wise. There's a few around, obviously in a few canals. Definitely at night time up the river. If I remember from the boys' school TSS, all the way up to Bond University. You get trevally chopping around, and at night, especially the run out tide, and I'll be just drifting the rivers, and especially in the bends where you got eddies and you got canals come in, and I'll sit in those eddy pockets, and they'll be feeding, and they'll be on the surface, and you just throw your stick bait out or your popper and work it back, and you'll catch big eyes, you'll catch little GTs, and other types of trevally, and they're definitely great fun on light gear. Same scenario in the Coomera River, from sort of Santa Barbara up to the Gold Coast City Marine up at Coomera, all the way through that area. They'll be up there as well. Wherever there's lights and current and eddies, that's where you'll catch your trevally at night time. Probably better I got on the Broadwater, I think. Beach wise, sorry. The whiting's a few whiting on the beach as well. There's a odd bream, got flathead, but definitely lots of whiting. So really nice little gutters at the moment, at the back of Mirage and up towards the sand pump and jetty. And you'll probably find a few heading down around Narrowneck and further south as well. Fish the gutters there, again, good tide. The fish that bottom of the tide, the water comes into the hull, the whitings come in the hull, they're feeding all the water coming out of the bank into the hull, and just flick up. You get whiting surf on yabbies and worms, okay? They like both. So lots of little dart drive you crazy, but you get a good one amongst it, and a good sea bream as well. So give that a go. Probably about it on the Gold Coast end, on this end, but down the bottom end of the Gold Coast, Tweed River's fishing really well for whiting as well, folks. So anywhere from Tumbolgan Bridge up to past the sugar mill, actually, at Condom, I think it's called. In that area is really good for whiting. So worms, yabbies both work down there. Back up this side of the river towards the mouth, some good flatties around. Anyone that's banks behind the hospital, you get good whiting there too, folks. All the way up to probably near the bar. Brim, off the seawall there, and definitely around the boat harbours and places like that. Down further south, I haven't had many reports for the surf fishing, but I reckon there's whiting on the beach everywhere at the moment. The tailors is the odd ones around, not many, but definitely heaps of whiting. So that's probably about it for the beach fishing down south. Back this way though, Talbot Creek and Crumman Creek's always good for whiting this time of the year, especially between the highway bridges and the Western Highway Bridge, the Eastern and West Bridge. We get the sandbanks and the bends in the river and whatever. That's a good spot for whiting during the day. You can dig your yabbies in most of those creeks as well. Hinds Dam, okay, I've got the Hinds Dam now. Still big bass there, so big bass, one of the best bass fisheries we've got in southeast Queensland, I believe. Like they're close on 60 centimetres. There probably is a few over 60 centimetres in the Hinds now that are probably over 3 kilos or getting up higher. So if you want to get yourself a bit of a line stretch on your light tackle, head up the Hinds Dam and have a fish for the bass. You can get a land base there, but definitely better if you got a kayak or a small tinny. You can use your boats. You just got to take your fuel line off your motor, as long as you got electric on, of course, because you got to get around the place. But and don't run your battery out, please. But yeah, so you can take your 15-foot boat out there if you want. If you've got a motor on a 20-foot boat, you can take it as long as it's electric. Okay. Other places have been fishing really good. A lot of guys heading north chasing barra at the moment. So traditionally November's the time we always used to go to Wonga and smash it up there years ago. They're coming back. The fishing's really good. A lot of fishing at 80 centimetre size, up to about 1.20 metres at the moment. So they're getting bigger. Also Mondrian's good. Caloids not too bad. And further north, obviously, up at Peter Faust, which is in from Proserpine. That's really good as well. And another thing a lot of customers are doing at the moment is heading north. They're taking their boats up to Whitsundays, up to 1770 and Stanish Bay and whatever. So folks, if you want to be a bit adventurous and go for a bit of a full-on hardcore fishing trip, you're welcome to pop in and we can show you what gear you need and look after you and get you through. Because we've got guys doing it every week, going up there, coming back and getting lots of good reports. I'm actually heading up to Ellie Beach next week myself, late next weekend, sorry. And I'll give a report on that when I get back, but hopefully we'll get a few reef fish, cast a few sick baits out. Pretty good. Okay, so prawns, let's real quick on the prawn side of things. I haven't heard much on the banana prawns yet, a few at the Logan River, but haven't heard much. And there's a few sand crabs in the Broadwater, of course, as always, overnight. Anyhow, we'll put a report out, hopefully, when I finish it midnight tonight, which is on Friday night, or whenever I go to bed. I'll try to get it done. But you'll see a few photos in there, what's been happening, and otherwise, enjoy times at the waters. This is the best weekend we've had in 10 weeks, so get out there and do it. Don't forget, next week we've got a bit of a Black Friday sale on tour. I can't mention much about it because I haven't organised it yet, but I will. And you'll see it'll happen, what happens, what stock we've got coming in for it, which won't be till next week. But anyhow, good luck and see you on the water or in the shop. Thank you, folks. Bye.